Today I have a challenge for you. Can you build a Lego mock keeping the piece count below 101 pieces? Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you 4 small mocks that I created for a Lego competition called Rogue Olympics. The target of each one of these is to keep the piece count at a maximum of 101 parts. This is a very good exercise that boosts your creativity and choice of parts usage. Now let's see a little bit of behind the scene and thought process about each one of these builds. So over here you can see I have one minifigure. This is from the D&D. So what I needed is basically a vampire and a wolf. The first week of this competition, the prompt was Twilight. So I found that particularly challenging. So what I decided to do is have a face-off between these two characters, like in the movie. It came at the wrong time, I guess, because I just built, just before that, the micro-scale Twilight Cullen house that actually has a piece count of 300 pieces, so it wouldn't apply anyway for this competition. So what I decided to do is to create a Twilight sky with a reflection on the water. So here I have a base. I will talk a little bit more about this later in a moment. Over here, I wanted to create a sort of Twilight effect. So here I have a little build up with different shades over here to create this effect with the moonlight going down to the water. And on top, because I don't have any dark blue bricks, I decided to build with plates and mount it sideways. So here we just have a bracket. I'm going to connect it over there. And that's it. We have our little scene. Now I wanted to get this Twilight effect to reflect onto the water. So what I did is add different type of tiles in the same shade as there underneath the water, and then basically just go and tile it up. It's the first time I do something like this, so I wanted to try it out. This is the easiest and maybe the less nice of these 3 builds ready for the competition. I close it up at the front here as well, and then I can just add the 2 minifigures on the side, the wolf and the vampire, to complete the scene. It's a pretty simple build. Because I had to keep the piece count low, then I couldn't finish up and add a little bit more details on the side, so this is fairly basic, but I'm pretty happy actually with the effect of this reflection on the water, which is not actually a reflection, but is achieved with the tiles underneath. So this one was, let's say, a warm-up into the competition. After that, if I want to be competitive in the competition, I probably need to step it up a little bit. The second prompt for week 2 of the Rogue Olympics was oops. So I wanted to create a fun scene. My idea was to have a rider on his motorcycle that have a sort of unfortunate events. So basically he's riding his Vespa and the, I don't know how this is called in English, is falling off, and also his head is falling off. We have a angles, transparent angle stud over there, those minifigure stands that make it look like he's flying off. So I think this is achieved very well with the perfect face for the minifigure. But how I'm gonna make this into a scene, keeping again a very low piece count, because already here the minifigure only is already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, plus all the parts for the Vespa. So what I did is create this little like road bump. So I'm using these 3 big parts, and of course, if you're using big parts like this will help to keep down the piece count instead of tile everything off. Because I'm using these parts that are curved, I decided to go with this sort of bump, a very basic support underneath over there, so the least amount of parts that I can use to make this stand. Of course, I cannot press it around, because anyway, what is judged is only the picture for the purpose of this contest. I'm just gonna finish off the front over here with a little bit of masonry brick, a little bit of different shades of different color, a little bit of texture. Very simple, very straightforward. I didn't finish it up on the other side because the main purpose is the picture over here. Now, I need to add a little bit of color. So what I decided to do is add a roadside. This is only 2 pieces, so works very well. I'm gonna add a red bird over here looking at the scene, a little bit pop of color, and then here I'm gonna add a little red, and I'm gonna add also this one to give a little twist to the story. So is it actually an accident or something happened over here? to make it a little bit more interesting. Over here you can see I have again another one of these angle studs coming up, and then I'm using this ice cream piece to create some sort of smoke effect, because the idea is to connect over here our Vespa. Now, because of this piece that I have coming off from the seat, I can connect, I can clip it over here, and now after you play with it a little bit, you can find the right angle to make it look like the Vespa is actually running down this hill. Now it's a bit off the alignment over here at the floor, but I will show you the picture later on. And then I can just add the minifigure over here. So if we look at this from the right perspective, we can see the smoke coming off and the minifigure running down this slope. Piece count below 101. Here is the final picture of this. I recommend you to go and check out this article from BrickNerd that I suggest you last week on This Week in Bricks about building with purpose. So the point of these builds is not to display or to bring to a convention, but only thing we need is the frame, is the picture. So when you build, you need to keep that in mind. It will save you a lot of time and a lot of parts. Anyway, if you want to then modify this into a display piece, you can always do so by strengthening everything and adding parts and making this look a bit nicer. But now, again, this was a good build, but I think we can do better. The third week, the topic was backwards. So what I decided to do is write the Lego logo, the Lego sign, backwards. So here I have a very simple snot technique. All of these are only kept together by gravity, so they can only be pushed over there against this brick. Again, because here, if you have this many different tiles, you cannot get everything connected, so basically everything can slide off. But that brick at the back gives me the support to make it like this. So you can see this is Lego spelled backwards. So my idea is to create a little Lego store where the design of the store has gone wrong. So here I have a 16 by 16 base plate, and I'm gonna try to use these nice printed tiles that I got from the yellow delivery truck. You can go and see my modification where I shrink down the yellow delivery truck to expand the Lego brand store. I'm using just one line of bricks at the back to make this the side of the store. So of course you cannot build a big scene like this with only 100 parts, but using this as a wall and this as the tiling of the floor already saved me a ton of parts. This instead is full of very tiny little plates and tiles, so I have to make it up in some way. This is gonna be the detail over here at the top. I just need to make sure that everything is aligned properly. So now we already have a little scene. What I wanted to do is have a sort of painter on a ladder done with 3 pieces that is gonna be standing over there, painting this, proud of his work. Here, of course, is a little bit difficult to balance it. It takes a few attempts to regulate this one. Anyway, later I will show you the picture on how this works. And over here you can put the employee of the store. But the scene, again, is not completed. Of course, the idea is to go with the camera closed down so that all this part is not going to be seen. Here I have another piece, very simple, with very few parts. So I'm using these big panel pieces, a few tiles on top to keep it together, a few other stickers and printer elements. And like this, I have 2 sides of this store. So again, when I will close down with the camera, it will look nice. Now, I need to add a little bit of details because this is an empty store basically. So what I created is a simple shelf with different printed elements and stickers of different themes from Lego sets. And this is gonna go right down here. So it gives a little bit of pop of color to the corner. And then with the last few parts that I have available, I created with 3 parts this cardboard box. That could be a box. Maybe they are preparing this store for opening, but then something went wrong. Here you can see also I tried to get one of this palette with a color scheme similar to the one that you can find in a set. Anyway, I cannot get this to balance. Here is the picture that I took. You can see, of course, that when you close down and you get on the right angle, then everything looks quite nice. So this is another way that you can build keeping the piece count low. Now, the last week, the 4th week of the contest, the prompt was trash. So what I decided to build is a talking trash, or trash talking. That's how I call this mock. So what I wanted to use is this big element from the Super Mario lineup. I wanted to make it in a good use in a mock. So what I did is, again, using those very useful angle studs, those minifigure stand, connecting here at the bottom, I have now a kind of talking bin, garbage bin. I created some wheels that are not going to be connected, again, to keep it simple and keep the piece count low, to make it look like we have the wheels on the side. And then, of course, I need to give some sort of big eyes. I'm using this 1x2 to give a little bit of eyebrow to this character, so it's more expressive. And again, connected with some of those angle stud minifigure stand kind of thing. And this is going to be like this. I think this is pretty fun. Now, I wanted to create some companion to this one. So I did a series of different kind of bin in different sizes. I have a smaller one in yellow, open in the center. My idea was to put maybe some trash inside, but I was already at the limit with the piece count when everything was completed. So here we have a little companion for this trash talking. Here I have another one using this big part that I think came from the tiny plants, and here another printed part from the Super Mario lineup. Again, this is for the purpose of the photo. So the back side of this is not completed, everything open, and you can see here the connection with some snot bricks. This one has also the legs that also come from the Mario lineup, so I make a good use of those pieces. And then I decided to build one of those, sorry about that, one of those blue bins. Again, back side not complete, front side completed, different set of eyes, little open mouth at the bottom. And then I just need to put a little cover over here that I can angle a bit slightly to make it look a little bit more interesting. Now, this was quite nice, but I thought maybe they need a base. So what I thought I could do is use one of the regular new road plates, to which I can just transfer all of this on top. And then I have a sort of street scene. I would like to make this more detailed, but again, this is all exactly 101 parts, so I achieved the purpose of the challenge. I recommend you to try for a contest or even on your own some kind of piece count challenge, because it really pushes you to be creative with your parts and to try the right parts in your inventory. And also, by the way, this is a very good challenge, a very good competition. If you have a small parts inventory, because you don't have to build a massive scenes, but everybody have the chance to participate and compete in a challenge like this. So let me know what you think in the comments down below about these builds, if you like them, if you participate to something like this before, and which one was your favorite. I have 4 more weeks of participating to the Rogue Olympics, so maybe I will do one more video in a few weeks with the remaining of the builds. If you want to follow more about the Road Olympics, make sure to check out the link down in the description below, or you can go and check out the latest episode of, and also the future one, episodes of This Week in Bricks, where I give some highlight of the best builds that come out of the competition as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao, ciao.